What's up, guys? This is Sam on Lion Family Adventures. You can see I'm wearing my favorite blue shirt again today. Um, yeah, I've got a couple of these I wear. So this is my rant on the government, and I'm going to be pimping out my website, basically, trying to get a little bit more traffic to it. No, I do not make money off my website. I don't ask for donations or none of that stuff. It is Brothers Against Sex Offenders, and what we stand for is, well, we're trying to start a grassroots political movement to get our laws changed, to make sex offenses a three strikes law, natural life in prison. And what I mean by natural life is your natural life. You're there until the day you die, and or the death penalty. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that don't believe in the death penalty. That's why I said natural life in prison as well. Either one of those two options. Okay? For three strikes, you're out for that. Now, I know that a lot of people out there are going to say, well, they shouldn't even get one, they should only get one strike and that's it. Well, guys, if we were to do that, our political system would be, our political system's already fucked, but it would be, too many people would file appeals saying cruel and unusual punishment, blah, 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 things of that nature. So basically, we want to get our laws changed to exclude certain sex crimes to where you don't have to register as a sex offender. Give more discretion to judges about certain sex offense crimes to where you don't have to register as a sex offender. Now, let me break those down for you guys. I'm totally 100% against sex offenders. I hate them. Fuck them. I wish they'd all get shot in their heads and get killed. But you can't. Sorry, but you can't. So, let me explain the ones I feel that need to be readjusted. Okay, there's a law in the California law books, because I live in California, guys, that states if my daughter rides in my car with me without her shoes, I can be arrested for statutory rape if she's under the age of 18. That's ridiculous. And that's crazy. Or let's say I'm out driving my car down some winding country road in the middle of nowhere and I've got to use the bathroom. Hey, I'm a guy, right? Let's say I pull my car over and I go out into this field and maybe behind a bush or a tree, and I decide to relieve myself, urinate, for instance. Well, let's say a law enforcement officer were to come by. Well, guess what? Boom. Exposure, defecating in public or urinating in public, that's a sex crime. Now, you have to register as a sex offender. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think you should be pegged as a sex offender because you've relieved yourself off the side of a road somewhere in the middle of nowhere where maybe there's just agriculture land and some cop happens to be doing a patrol. Also, there's another category of sex offenders that people have to register that I think is a gray area, kind of, and it falls under the statutory rape laws. Okay, so let me break down the statutory rape laws. Okay, they vary from state to state. They're not all uniform. Okay, and unfortunately, some people find this out the hard way. I know there are some states where the age of legal consent for sexual intercourse is 16. There are some states it's 14. There is one state in the union, and I'm not going to mention its name, but basically if you're old enough to bleed as a female, you're old enough to breed as a female. No shit, but that's the way it basically stands in the laws. As a consenting adult. Now, that I've got some of that aside, there's no uniformity in those laws. None, from coast to coast. They're all separate, all different statutes, all different limitations. But I'm just going to use my local state for an example, California. The age of legal consent for sexual intercourse in the state of California is 18. Same age you're allowed to vote. Alright, so let's say that you're 18. On your 18th birthday, right? You decide to have sex with your girlfriend, who is, per se, 17. Let's say she's 17 years, 6 months from her next birthday, her 18th birthday. Let's say you guys have sex. Guess what? Her parents could press charges against you and have you arrested for statutory rape. Whether you're in love or you're consenting or not, it's not in your hands because she's considered a minor. It's in her parents' hands. And let's say they don't like you as a man, right? Boom. Bye-bye. You go off to prison. You're now a sex offender. Well, I think that's kind of a gray area and should be allowed to be under discretion of a judge. I think that gray area needs to be looked at a little bit. Now, I'm not talking an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. Okay? Don't get me wrong. That's statutory. I'm not taking maybe an 18-year-old and maybe a 16-year-old. No, that's statutory. I'm talking maybe an 18-year-old and maybe a 17-year-old who's like within a certain amount of time of her 18th birthday. Or you're within a certain amount of time of beyond your 18th birthday. Right? Like, let's say you're a week past your 18th birthday. Right? And your girlfriend is, let's say, within 180 days of her 18th birthday. You have sex, boom. You go to jail, no questions asked. I think that needs to be reviewed. Because I had a friend of mine that actually went through just that problem. And in fact, the day this incident supposedly occurred, he was nowhere near her. But yet was arrested and now has to register as a sex offender before it. And I'm not going to mention any names. The sex offense with people urinating in public. I had a neighbor that did that. He was walking through a city park in Chico, California. The park's in the middle of the downtown area. When they actually had a big bathroom there, and the bathroom was locked up, and it was a city park at night. He'd just come out of a bar, right? And he had to use the bathroom really, really bad. Well, the way the entrance was set up to this bathroom was kind of like a maze to walk into the bathroom, right? Well, no one could physically see him there, okay, when he used the bathroom there. But he went up to into this concrete building to check the bathroom. It was locked. So, him being drunk and basically not paying attention, decided he wanted to relieve himself, and he urinated, technically in public. Well, officer happened to see him and arrested him. And he was charged with a sex crime. Urinating in public. Now he has to register as a sex offender, and I think that's wrong. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that should have to happen. Alright. Now, back on to my next part of my rant. The Transportation Safety Administration. When did they get authorization to lay hands on people? Under what act of Congress or law enforcement are they allowed to do this? These pat-downs. They are not a recognized law enforcement agency that I know of. The Transportation Safety Administration, TSA. And they're allowed to lay hands on you? Now, I've experienced this. Now, mind you, I'm a victim of rape, guys. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Well, okay, so my story of going through an airport. Well, I went through the Sacramento International Airport, okay, located in Sacramento, California, to take a flight back east. I'm not going to mention the date or the time. I'm just going to tell you my story. That's neither here nor there, date or time. But my experience with the Transportation Safety Administration after 9/11. Well, I opted out of a body scanner. Right? Okay, you're allowed to do that, guys. You can opt out. You don't have to go through that body scanner that spits out more radiation than a damn x-ray at a hospital. And if they tell you it doesn't, they're full of it. It does. Look it up online, guys. You'll see it. So I opted out of that little scam. Well, that came to secondary screening, which means I had to be patted down like a common criminal. Unlawful search and seizure at its max. But they're not law enforcement. So yet that doesn't apply to them. However, as a citizen, aren't you allowed to defend yourself if somebody tries to sexually assault you? And I'm not sure what anyone else out there considers sexual assault. If you grab my genitals, that's sexual assault. And I should be allowed to defend myself. Well, you touch one of these people, it's just like striking a police officer for some weird reason and you go to jail, folks. And that did happen to me. This stupid TSA agent, when I was being searched, right? Okay, so they started searching me. And they, arms out, spread your legs, right? So, and I was wearing a t-shirt and a blazer, suit jacket, type jacket, and slacks. And really, really nice $800 shoes, right? That's how much they cost. They were made out of camel hide. Really soft, really comfortable shoes. I wanted to be comfortable when I traveled. And I was also traveling first class. So I get to the screening thing, right? And they go through all my stuff, you know, and blah, 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 search my belongings, throw them through the x-ray machine, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Then it comes down to my physical pat down. Well, the guy starts on my arms, and he runs his hands down my arms, you know, to check me. And I'm like, dude, they're bare arms. What am I going to hide under my skin? Yo, start where the sleeves start, dude. Okay, so first off, he does that, and he runs his hands, and he grabs my chest. Well, I'm a guy, I'm not a female, so I don't have breasts, so that really didn't bother me. All right, so then he runs his hand around my midsection, right? He grabs my pants, yo. Pulls them away from my body and shakes them to see if I had anything in my waistband. What the fuck? That really didn't bother me too much. No. Okay, well then he steps back and he goes, well, now I'm going to search you and I'm going to start at your ankles and I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to run them up your body until it meets your pelvis. Okay, do what you got to do, dude. So he does this, right? He takes his hands and starts at my knee and runs down, right? Feeling around my ankles. I was wearing socks, you know. Okay, he did that. Then he takes his hands at my ankles and runs straight up both my legs. Fast. Bam! Hits me in my nuts. And I cringed and took a step back. And then he got all defensive. I said, excuse me, sir. I said, you just smacked me in the genitals. And those weren't really the words I used. I said, excuse me, sir. You just hit me in my nuts. What are you doing? Oh, I'm searching you. And I was like, well, sir, you're doing it a little bit aggressively. Can you please calm down a little bit? Because that was uncomfortable. He reaches out, standing in front of me, and grabs me. Right? Grabs me. So I take a step back. My first response was to knock his hand. But I didn't do that. I put my hands in the air and I took 2 steps back real fast. And I told him, you touch me again, and I'm going to knock you out. Well, then he calls a cop over. Because I threatened a federal officer, supposedly. TSA agent. Well, and I told this officer that he had racked me in my nuts. And I asked the officer, I said, is he law enforcement? The officer says no. So he's not a cop. No. He's a TSA agent. Transportation Safety Administration. Is he a federal officer? Does he have powers of arrest? The local officer at the airport said, no, he does not. So I said, all right, am I legally allowed to defend myself if I feel like I've been sexually assaulted? Yeah. Using reasonable force. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. These are the laws, guys. You're allowed to defend yourself with reasonable force. Okay? So the TSA agent said that, I acted aggressive. And I'm like, yeah, he hit me in my nuts. What am I supposed to do, stand there? I was just sexually assaulted by this guy. He actually reached out and grabbed my business. And I told the cop that. And the cop was like, well, okay, go ahead and go through. That was it. Somebody reaches out and grabs my genitalia with their fucking hand. Right? Squeezes me. And then because I jump back, offended, and upset that I'm breaking the law? I don't think so. He's lucky I didn't knock him the fuck out. Because I swore back in 2000, guys, when I turned 22 years old, after being a victim of sexual assault as I was a child, I swore to myself, never again would I allow that to happen to myself. Ever. But yet, I filed a complaint with TSA and it went nowhere. So, I don't go to the airport no more. The last time I flew with my wife and kids. Did we get patted down, honey?
No.
We didn't get patted down. Did we have to walk through a body scanner?
Yep.
I thought we just walked through that metal detector.
Yeah.
That was it. Just a metal detector, not a body scanner this time.
Just before the body scan came out.
No, because the body scan was already out and when I went through there, when my incident happened.
Oh, okay.
They just weren't using that lane for that day. We went through the airport with my kids. But, again, I was sexually assaulted by a TSA agent. When I filed a complaint, it went nowhere. No fucking where.
Holding a baby.
Huh?
We were both
Oh yeah, we were both holding our kids when we went through the metal detector checkout line. My daughter happened to be, I think, like a year, and my son was like 8 or 9 months old.
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months old, excuse me, when we went through the line. Oh, and they broke our stroller, by the way, loading it into the airline. I'd like to thank you, American Airlines, for breaking a $400 stroller and not fixing it. Thank you.
We signed a paper and we never signed anything.
Yeah, trying to say we signed a paper saying if it was damaged, it was not their liability, which was bullshit because we didn't. Thank you, America. Thank you, U.S. Airways, for destroying my personal property. But that's neither here nor there. My rant now is about sexual assault in the TSA. I want that to stop. I'm tired of seeing stories where women have been sexually assaulted by the TSA because they're aggressive with their body searches and pat downs. They have metal wands, Garrett metal wands they can use on you. Right? They can use those wands on you. You can run through a metal detector. You don't have to have your body scanned. Oh, I'm sorry, they're looking for explosives. When was the last time an American citizen that you know of took explosives on an airplane? Oh, and get this, I found out there are certain everyday household chemicals that can cause their alarm bells to go off as explosives. Figure that out.
Bring formula on the plane.
Huh?
They wouldn't even let us bring Brian's formula on the plane.
I know. We have to check that. But needless to say, guys, that's another thing, right? The over secure airlines are. It's not my government's job to provide security for me. It's my job to provide security for myself. But I've tried. But if I try that crap, I can end up in jail now. If I mention trigger words on the internet, you could be branded as a terrorist and arrested, whether they're not used in any sort of context for terrorism. Just like that word right there I just used, that T word. That's a trigger word. You mentioned Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay. That's another trigger word, but that's not what this is about. I don't like being sexually assaulted by the TSA. I take great and personal offense to it. And to any TSA agent, I love. Now, I don't know who it was for. I don't know who it was targeted at. But I saw Marilyn Manson walk into an airport. And I think he had like a tape across his mouth. And it said, "Fuck you" on it. Well, that's how I feel about the TSA. Fuck you, Transportation Safety Administration. Fuck you and your stupid ass. The next time a gentleman at the TSA grabs my genitals, I'll be happy to go to jail because I'm going to knock that motherfucker out. Maybe I should start carrying a Brothers Against Sex Offenders ID card on me. Hey, I belong to an organization that's Brothers Against Sex Offenders. You're not going to lay your hands on me. You want to have me patted down? Call a cop to do it. That's unlawful search and seizure, and I'm not going to tolerate that crap. I'm not a terrorist, and I'm not going to be treated like one in my own country. I'm an American citizen. I don't need to be raped. I don't need to be sexually assaulted. There's my rant on the TSA, guys. And speaking of the Transportation Safety Administration, I've seen them at airports. I've seen them at the Amtrak stations. I've seen them at the Greyhound bus station. I've even seen them on the side of the fucking road. Stopping people to search you. Last time I saw a TSA checkpoint on the side of the road, I blew right by that motherfucker, didn't even stop. Fuck you. You ain't a cop. I don't stop for none of your shit. They actually had cones directing people to pull over. Fuck that. I drove right over the cones and kept going. Why? In this country, you're allowed the freedom of travel to be unobstructed from point A to point B traveling on our roads. It's one of our privileges. I guess it's like the right to travel. I exercised my right to travel and kept going. Did I get pulled over? Hell no. But I blew right through that little TSA checkpoint. That's unlawful search and seizure, guys. That's a violation of your amendments, your constitutional rights. You don't have to stop for that crap. I didn't. I'm not in jail either because of it. But I blew right through a TSA checkpoint on the side of a road. Fuck you and your checkpoint. You're not a cop. Fuck you. If a cop lights me up, lights a siren, you're damn right I'm going to pull over. And I'm going to try to be as respectful to them as possible. They already have a tough enough job. You know? However, I didn't get stopped by a cop when I did that. I just kept going. Hey, that's me. I'm an American citizen. They didn't bother to stop me at all. I just kept trucking on along. Well, if you guys like being sexually assaulted in airports, enjoy it, because they're going to start doing it on the side of the roads. They're doing it at Amtrak, Greyhound, everywhere. Under the umbrella of the Department of Homeland Security, which is another joke. We don't need Homeland Security. I'm my own Homeland Security. I don't need the government to secure my home. That's my personal job. Department of Homeland Security, protecting our country. Yeah? What do they protect? Huh? The TSA stopped the Boston bombing? No. The Department of Homeland Security stopped that? No. Then what good are they? They didn't stop that crap, and it happened anyway. Inside job? Yeah, I think so. Benghazi Gate. There's another one for you guys in my little rant. Benghazi. Telling our troops to stand the fuck down from defending our own American citizens in a foreign land, where people were killed, including soldiers. And our government covered the fucking shit up real quick. Is that an impeachable offense? Hell yes. Has he been impeached? No. Why? That's my question. Why hasn't our president gone through an impeachment process for that? You know, giving guns to Mexican drug cartels. Excuse me, that's treason. Those are enemies of the United States. You're giving them guns. Hello? You're supporting the enemy. That's treason. Has our president been charged with treason for that? Nope. Stripping of the bill and the Constitution? That's a treasonous act in my opinion. He took an oath to swear, he took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. But yet he shit on it more than any other person in history. He's shitting on our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. You don't believe me? Look up the NDAA. Look up the Patriot Act. Those both do it. He signed the fucking NDAA. National Defense Authorization Act. Look that shit up. The long-winded fucking bill. Read it. It's crazy. He signed that crap into law. And lied about it. Oh, I'm not going to sign that. Signed it anyway, didn't he? It's one thing to be lied to by a politician under certain circumstances. Bill Clinton did it and got impeached for it. Went through the impeachment process over a blowjob. Getting his dick sucked. Hell, any man would lie to their wife about getting their dick sucked by another woman. Shit. It's cheating. Yeah, well, hey. And we impeached him for that. That's nowhere near the shit Obama's pulled off. Have we impeached him for that? Nope. And this ain't about race, guys. I'm not a racist. It has nothing to do with the color of that man's skin. That's to do with what he's done while he's in office and the laws he's violated, in my opinion. If it was a white guy, I'd say the same fucking thing. If it was a Latino, I'd say the same fucking thing. If it was a Native American, I'd say the same thing. If it was one of those red dot forehead motherfuckers, I'd say the same thing. If it was a towel head, I'd say the same thing. Yeah, those are kind of racial slurs, but hey. You know? Any one of those people, I'd say the same fucking thing. It has nothing to do with race. Even though I'm probably going to get called a racist because of it. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin, guys. It has to do with what he stands for and what he's doing to our country that I'm against. I don't vote Republican and I do not vote Republican or Democrat. I am an independent. I don't take any party officially or any sides. I am an American independent. I vote for who I think is best deserved to be in office. Did I vote this last presidential election? No, because I'm under the illusion that my opinion matters. I didn't vote for president. Do you know why? 2 words. Electoral college. My opinion doesn't matter when it comes to president. Popular vote does not make a difference. It has to do with how many electorates he gets in the Electoral College. I've said that before in one of my other rants previously after the election. It's the illusion that you're voting for president. Makes no difference. With all the crap our government's doing, it's woke me up. The buying of billions and billions of bullets woke me up. And they're not just target range bullets, guys. These are hollow points designed to do serious damage when they hit you. DHS has bought them. DHS is not a military branch. They don't need that type of ammunition, but yet they've got them. What are they gearing up for, guys? Well, look what our president's doing. I should say enough. They know that sooner or later the American people are going to have enough bullshit, and they're going to take a stand. And it's going to be a rebellion against a corrupt government. That's what they're geared up for. Civil unrest. Don't get shit twisted. They just bought a whole shitload of 7.62 millimeter rounds. NATO rounds for assault rifles. Right? And the organization I'm talking about that's doing this is the Department of Homeland Security. They're not part of the military, but yet they're doing it. They've got all sorts of military-grade weaponry. They don't need, but they got it. That's what they're getting ready for, guys. Civil unrest. Because they know American citizens are getting tired of the bullshit. They're getting tired of us being ran by bankers and PAC lobbyists that buy laws. That's what they do. It's the biggest fucking scam in the world history. Right? The biggest con game ever. If you ever watched one of my favorite movies, it's called The Distinguished Gentleman. Right? Because secretly it gives you a glimpse into government. All politicians are all bought and paid for. And not by us. Big business does it. I like that movie because it makes me laugh. Because it's so fucking true. And one of the things Eddie Murphy quoted was in there, hey man, I may have pulled off the scam, but everything I did here in D.C. is considered legit. Because it is. It's bullshit, but it is. They bought and paid for our country. Foreign banks, man. They run our country. Everyone else, in my opinion, are just puppets on the end of a string doing a little puppet dance. The dancing chicken on a hot plate. That chicken ain't dancing. His feet are fucking burning, so he's trying to keep his feet from burning, so he's bouncing around. That's what they are. Dancing chickens on a hot plate. Well, there's another rant and a rave about what's going on in my country that I'm upset about. You know, I've gone PC, guys. I've gone political. Oh my God. Lion Family Adventure has another political rant out. Oh my God, help us all. Yeah. I'm awake and I see what my country's going through and I'm totally disgusted with it. My grandfather, World War II veteran, on the day he died, stated that communism was alive and well in America today. Need I say more? I think my grandfather gave up on life and passed away because he didn't like what this country was becoming. What he fought and was willing to die for. What he took bullets in his body for in World War II. And he did. Got shot a couple of times. In the name of the red, white, and blue. Good old-fashioned America. You know. And I've watched stories, documentaries on Netflix about our military and them being loaded up with drugs like Ambien, you know, and a bunch of other things, and left over there in combat while they're going through PTSD, or when my grandfather was in World War II, it was called battle fatigue. And they're letting them loose on America. Yeah. Wounded warriors. You don't have to be physically wounded to be a wounded warrior, in my opinion. You could be wounded up here and be a wounded warrior. I've seen them. I think it's a damn shame what we do to our troops who come back to this country, who took an oath, and who are willing to die for our land. Following orders. And they come back here so fucked up it's not even funny. Being deployed for 18 months on end, seeing all the horror and crap that they see, and having to come back here and expected to perfectly fall back into line as a person. Well, I'm sorry, guys, but our government military is trained to do one thing: kill. And you expect them to come back in here after being stripped down of all their morality and being taught one thing: kill. Right? And throw them back into society and expect them not to have that trait. Not to be like you and I are, you know, as citizens. But then again, I also see a lot of military that have woken up to the bullshit that our government's going through. You know, and that have actually given a no, how can I say this, a vote of no contest or whatever. Basically just trust in our government. You know, our military has said, hey, look, you know, wait a second here, man. What are you doing? You know, immoral orders. Ever heard of those guys? Any military person out there ever heard of a moral order? And you don't have to obey an immoral order or an unlawful order? How you've taken an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic? What I like to say to any military person out there, you see what our government's doing? Do you see that crap? Have you read the NDAA? Do you realize as a veteran, once you come back from war, if you have PTSD, you can't own a firearm? Do you know why? Because they know you're a trained killer. They know, deep in your heart of hearts, you will defend this country with your own blood, sweat, and tears if need be. I understand you guys have to follow orders, and your commander-in-chief is the most crookedest motherfucker I've ever seen alive, who has stripped us of everything you're fighting for. Yeah, they tell you you're going out there and you're defending the Constitution, guys. I thank you for that. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. I thank every single military personnel out there for their sacrifice. But do me a favor. Remember, you took that oath to defend this Constitution. Well, what you're trying to defend, they're taking. Due process is gone. Posse comitatus. Any person in the military knows what that is. But yet they're putting you guys in the National Guard units after you've been federalized, put in a National Guard unit and sent against me as a citizen. Remember this face that you see. I'm the person you're fighting for. Over there across seas. I'm the person standing back here who says, I support you 100 billion%, and if I could be there next to you, brother, I would. But I can't. I'm 35 years old. I've got health issues. I couldn't join the military because of health issues. But I'd love to stand there beside you as a brother as your brother and fight and die with you. But I can't. But I can stand back here and say, I support you 100 billion%. And I welcome you back into my country with loving and open arms. And that I thank you for your service. I thank you for what you're doing. But just remember, you're fighting for people like me so we can have our rights, even though everyone else has taken them. Freedom of speech, guys. Well, they passed laws now that basically videos like mine can be taken down and removed. It's censorship. This open, wonderful, open forum of YouTube. YouTube allows me to state my opinions and my facts and how I feel. You know? And I'm doing that, guys. I'm using my forum to say what I need to say. When you come home, troops, if you see this, remember that oath you took against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I'm not a domestic enemy. I'm not. Look at this face. I'm not a domestic enemy. I'm an American who removes my hat for your service and who will stand by your side if needed. I don't stand against you. I stand with you. I'm just tired of seeing what my government has become. I'm tired of watching all you guys being sent over there to fight for something that almost no longer exists. When you go through the airport as a soldier and you come home or you depart and the TSA pats you down, that's a violation of your constitutional right, unlawful search and seizure. Do you know that? Yeah, they say it's to protect us from terrorism. No. It's not. It's power hungry. It's a power grab. To get all of us used to them controlling us. That's what that is. The martial law they declared in Boston to catch those two bombers, those domestic terrorists, is not right. Being held prisoner in your own home, on lockdown, is not right. Having your rights stripped from you during their little search for these guys was not right. It's a violation of the Constitution. And if you think you still have rights, guys, I want you to Google Japanese internment camps, World War II. American Japanese internment camps, World War II. They throw aside that Constitution faster than anything else in the world. We rounded up all the Japanese during World War II and we threw them into American concentration camps. Did the Constitution live then? No. When they bombed the World Trade Center and they enacted this NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, that can brand any one of us as an enemy combatant. When they do that, habeas corpus is gone. You have no rights as a citizen of this country. They strip them from you. That act by itself already took them. Posse comitatus. That's gone. They're training our own troops to fight against us. You military people out there who I love and who I support, and who I would stand next to and die with on a battlefield if I could. They have people like you round me up for re-education. It's a re-education program. They have those in your guys' things. I've even looked into that. Do me a favor, when that time comes, when you have to come knock on my door and take me from my family and lock me up in some camp, if you're going to take all my rights from me that I was born with and who I support, put a bullet in my head. You'd be doing me a favor. You've already gone that far. Because I don't want to sit in a prison as an enemy combatant to my country, because I'm not one. I love my country. I am an American patriot. All Americans are patriots. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Liberty, justice are the two words that I love the most. I'm an American citizen. I was born in Sacramento, California, at Sutter Memorial Hospital on March 5th, 1978. I grew up in Sacramento, California. My kids are born in this country, and I'm so scared for their future as a parent. Not from people outside here, not from citizens walking around in my country. No, I fear what my government's going to do. The microchipping shit that they want to insert into your skin, that's an invasion of your constitutional rights and an invasion of your privacy. That's a mark of the beast, man. Even the Bible says this. That scares me. They want to do that to our children. RFID tags. They want to mark everybody with RFID tags so they can track your every moment, every step, everything. Why? Why do you want to do that to me as an American citizen? What do you have to fear from me? Oh, wait. You have the fear that I want to wake up and I'm going to say, wait a second, government, you've gone too far. And then I'm going to fight to get my government back the way it should be, the way our founding fathers intended it to be. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they're trying to stop. Like I said before, a people that fear their government is tyranny. A government that fears its people is freedom. I say it's time that we stop fearing our tyrannical government and let's let them fear us again. That's what I say. Let's do it as peacefully as possible. And to my military brothers and sisters out there, who I'd love to stand with and die next to if need be, supporting you and you supporting me and our country and what it was originally founded on, I would gladly do that. As a citizen of my country, I would gladly stand beside any one of you guys. Have I ever gone through boot camp? No. Have I ever taken your oath? No. But I would still love to. I'd love to stand by your side, support you. And I do that from home. I stand here and I support you. No matter what you do, I support you as a military. My dad served in Vietnam, right? My mom's dad, my hero, my grandfather served in World War II as a combat medic who got shot in his arm, got shot in his abdomen, left side, lost half of his right leg, saving another troop, saving another military man. He looked down at the bullet wound in his leg, the one in his arm, his right arm, the one in his left side. And this is what he told me. He said, my wounds are not fatal, but the guy in front of him almost died. My grandfather saved that man's life. I found this out after my grandfather died. From the man he saved. I come from a long line of military in my family. All the way back to when my country fought Britain for its independence. And I carry that heritage on these shoulders, in this blood, in this human being. I could trace my ancestry back in America to the beginning of America. I've done it. Yep. Well, guys, this is Sam Lyon with Lyon Family Adventure, and this is the end of my rant. Complete end of it. And again, to all my military brothers and sisters out there, I wish I could be there with you. I really do. I wish I could fight by your side to defend you as you defend my country. But I guess the stars had it lined up a different way. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your true patriotism. And just remember, we citizens need your help more than ever to get our country back from tyrants. I don't care whether you're active duty or unactive duty. We need our American soldiers now more than ever. I salute you.